Were you affected by the recent IT outage, or as they said, update? Ha ha ha. It reminds me of Mr. Robot, a TV show that came out about 8 years ago. I think was the first season in 2016. And there was this global outage connected to a company that dealt with IT. Very interesting how things parallel each other. But I've got a great guest today, folks. I think you really want to stay tuned for this one and buckle up. I've got Bob Kudla with us, and he has a really cool podcast. It's the tradelikeagenius.com as well as Trade Genius podcast. And right now they're offering 40% off if you use the code SUMMER. We're on their trade calls that they send. I've been trading with Trade Genius now for, over 5 years. Done very well with Trade Genius. Bob is a friend of mine, and he's very knowledgeable about current events and the markets and the way that they intertwine. So one of the things that I got from you, Bob, a very long time ago, is you said, you guys don't follow the media as far as trades go. You don't look at a headline that comes out and buy or sell based upon that. And I think that a lot of people still do to this day. But great to see you. How have you been?
I've been good. Hey, one quick correction. So the bundle stuff, 65% off. The non-bundle stuff is 40% off the retail price. So I just want to make sure people don't get confused. But other than that, we're doing well. It seems like life is calm for most people, and it's just an absolute turmoil, in the upper echelons and internationally. So I'm sure some of it's starting to creep down and affecting people and their day-to-day lives. And remember, through chaos is opportunity. And so, especially when you trade, and as you know, because you're really aggressive in the crypto space, it's like trading stocks on steroids. And we're getting a lot of market action right now, and that is absolutely profitable. I'll give you an example. So you talked about the CrowdStrike driver that caused this morning. There's an adage in trading is if something gaps down, you give it 5 to 7 trading days, and then you take a shot at it long. Okay, because basically the 5 rules of grief are in place, right? So the people that want to get out are already out, and then you got new buyers coming in to take advantage of a lower price. And so we took advantage of that today in our VIP room and made a quick $1,200 on a CrowdStrike long trade, and then CrowdStrike rolled back over again. So so we use algorithms, and I really don't care. I mean, CrowdStrike. I'll talk about that in a second. All it was a trade to me because the algorithm's set up. As you know, you see the algorithms on crypto. You can use them for option trading, use them for stock trading. The same rules apply. It's all about momentum levels, trend, and price action. And so we capture those things. So you definitely can trade options with us. You can trade stocks with us, you can trade crypto with us. And we'll talk crypto too, because we're in an interesting area price-wise. But let me talk CrowdStrike for a second. So that company's in the business of things like that not happening, okay? So in my personal view, there's a really good chance that driver was corrupted after they tested it before they released it, okay? Because we do that to people all the time. So obviously there was a malicious actor. We destroyed all the centrifuges in Iran because we got to their programmable chips inside a facility. Okay. So, people like, I'm not saying they did it, but, countries like United States, United Kingdom, Israel, China, North Korea, Russia have very sophisticated cyber, and hacking capabilities. And there's a reason for that. Just like there was a reason for the big AT&T hack. AT&T one could have easily been a white hat versus a black hat because maybe our government needed information on somebody and they hit it by a massive hack. We don't know if the same thing happened here too. We don't know if this hack was designed for some other purpose. So I don't think CrowdStrike was stupid. I think CrowdStrike was taken advantage of, which just shows you that nothing's really safe. The big thing it pointed out to me is the need for decentralized everything, right? So, we have stuff sitting on a cloud. You take a cloud out, just shows you how fast you can move into the Stone Age in this environment. We're very fragile. It pointed out, I think, the strength of Bitcoin. You saw Bitcoin on Friday. Everything was down in the market. Bitcoin and Bitcoin related was up. We're seeing them wind that back a little bit, yesterday and today, but people bought Bitcoin pretty hard because it is decentralized and it's not correlated to banks. And I think as more and more of these systems and things like this happen, you're going to see more and more people rely on that asset as a way, basically, to get off the bypass of the highway of banking. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I'm looking at some of you've got major airlines that were affected, banks worldwide, healthcare systems, emergency services, the London Stock Exchange, social security offices. The outage impacted public transportation systems in various cities. Some states reported issues with driver's license services, supermarket chains in Australia, media outlets, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security worked with CrowdStrike and other agencies to get rid of the outages. But geez,
Well,
man,
the part of the problem is that you're pushing your data up into somebody else's home.
right?
In the past, look, I worked for a company. We were one of the original cloud companies, and so the data moves off the customer's host server and they move on to ours. So if something happened to our servers, it not only affects us, it affects all our customers. There's obviously a lot of advantages to it because it's easy to do updates, but at the same time, it's really easy to really screw things up. And in the past, if that was done internally, I'm shocked that Homeland Security is using a third party for anything. You know, um, that stuff, that if that driver came in and you had internal systems, you would have isolated that driver and loaded it to test it. Okay, before you put it into the main system, right? You would have had your systems backed up, and if that thing blew up on you, all you do is flip the switch. You go to the backup blades, and then you delete the driver. Here, you relied on CrowdStrike to flip the driver on, and then boom, it affected everybody. So I think there's going to be a lot of conversations inside of CrowdStrike and their customers about saying, okay, you can host this stuff, but there needs to be more QA and testing of a driver launch or any other kind of update before you put it into my live system. So it was just amazing to me that they just turned it on to all these people at one time, and but then again, it could have been a time release thing too, where it was set to a clock. You know what I mean? And the driver was in place. The clock struck 12. Boom. So it just shows you that you have to. There's a lot you have to do in these systems that centralize. A lot of people have to bring this stuff back in. We've been way too reliant on other people, and they do it obviously for cost reasons. But here's the downside to that stuff.
Troy Hunt, he's a cybersecurity expert. He said that this was possibly one of the largest IT outages in history, and that just one single piece. So I hope you're right. I hope that they take this and they use this. When I'm saying they, I'm referring to the infrastructures, the governments, the corporations that use this company, CrowdStrike. I hope they can figure out ways to be more secure, because definitely 1%, I think they said just 1%, the media outlets came out and said 1% of Windows systems were affected, but the world was affected because the corporations connected to this one point.
Elon Musk came out and mocked them, basically saying your operating systems are garbage. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I really like the decentralization thing. So Bitcoin's looking good. What are some other, like I've heard something about ETFs with Ethereum.
I don't know, but I'm sure Ethereum, if people start buying ETH, that it could help. It could siphon off some money from Bitcoin. I'm not a big ETH person. That's more your world, more Phil's world on our side. I just really watch Bitcoin. My whole bailiwick is Bitcoin and the proxies. So I'm interested in what happens to MicroStrategy. Interested in what happens to Coinbase. What happens to Square. What happens to Bido. Those are the stocks and ETFs that I trade. But I'll tell you something really interesting. They have these new high yield products that sell underneath those products with derivatives, they give you maximum yields. Like MicroStrategy, if you're in a hunt for dividend yields, and you need income, and you can't day trade or in and out of MicroStrategy to get the move, you could buy a product called MSTY. It's an ETF. It paid 120% annualized dividend in the last 12 months. Okay. Now, MicroStrategy outperformed that, but what do you care if you didn't have to trade it at all, right? And you got a dividend at a lower rate than the short-term cap rate, and you could just be working away here and just pocketing, massive moves. Coinbase has one called Coney. Square has one. I think it's SQOY or something like that. I haven't traded that one personally, but Vital has one called Ybit, and I own that. I own 3 of those 4. And last month, I picked up, I own $220,000 of these procs. I own other things besides the Bitcoin ones, but I pocketed 13,000 in dividends. Okay, you try to find that somewhere, and it's all if you believe in the stock and its general range. These pay monthly dividends. Okay, and they're incredible. They have ExxonMobil, they have Apple, they have Disney. They have Snowflake. They have Tesla. So really cool stuff. So I don't worry so much about some of these market price actions, because you can hedge and leverage with these products, and even have some that actually short the market. So if I told you, hey, Rex, you're listing your boot and your principles reasonably protected, would that be interesting to you to participate with a company like us to help guide you as to how you should be ratioed on these? And that should be an easy question to answer. It should be, of course. And we can show people how to do this. We follow it. We have spreadsheets to show people how to manage the bias, we call it, every day. And then you just sit back and relax. And these products have been available only to institutions up to last year. Now they're available for retail. So I would check it out, guys. Come check out tradelikeagenius.com. We have very happy customers using this program, and we offer other trades too. And so, like I said, we did an option trade with CrowdStrike this morning. We did one with SVIX, which is a volatility one. And, so if you're an active trader, those 2 trades for me were $1,800 today. And one I did with options, and the other one I did with straight shares and back into cash. You have a margin account that's available to you right away again. And so we can help you learn how to do these things. You could trade things on your own if you want, Rex, because we give you access to the algorithms too. So that's what's happening. The market is confused right now. Normally you would get a surge in the summer because it's low volume. But, we had geopolitical action going on with Israel. At any time, Israel pumped some bombs into the Houthi oil facilities. That was basically a preview to Iran that's saying, hey, you have these things too, and we can reach them and we could take them out, and you'd be back in the Stone Age tomorrow. So we could easily see energy skyrocket. So we own energy in our longer term portfolios. We trade in and out of energy, and then you have what's happening with with Bernie and with Harris, right? Bernie just decided not to run for re-election, and he's having a weekend with his friends, and I think it's real this time. I mean, he couldn't even get out of the limo, so I think this guy's fading fast, and I wouldn't be surprised that at some point they're going to let Kamala finish it out. I don't know if they can hide him anymore, and so we have that going on. So the market's swinging back and forth. What does a Trump presidency look like? What does a Harris presidency look like? And so you got to be positioned for unexpected things. And that's why these yield products are really good. You can hedge yourself, get into bonds. Interest rates will be coming down this year. but that doesn't mean the stock market goes up. It usually goes down when the yields go down. Remember, the markets follow them. Yields go up. Everybody thought, oh, yields are going up. It's going to affect the economy. Stock market went right up. Yields come down. Oh, they're lowering interest rates. Businesses are going to be able to boom again. Stock price goes down. So the bond market is they say the forex market is the smartest. The bond market's really smart, and the stock market's stupid. So the stock market follows the bond market, and so that's what you have to pay attention to. Might be brief euphoria on the first rate cut, and after that, it will follow the market. It'll follow the yields down, and that's what we're expecting. But at any rate, no matter who gets in office, it's going to be pandemonium in 2025. They don't like to have. They like to throw out the garbage in the first year of a election cycle because people have short-term memories. Okay, if Harris gets in, if she's actually the nominee, she's going to press on with these disastrous policies. And if Trump gets in, he's going to boil the ocean and he's going to blow up the swamp. And that's going to cause, whether that's the greatest thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, markets don't like change. Okay, and so there'll be a lot of volatility. The good news, if you trade the markets, volatility is your friend. If you're in these yield pair things that I just referred to, that it'll explode the yields because that's its mother's milk. They like volatility, and then you're hedged on the principal side. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be a wild 18 months.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for spending some time with us. I know you're really busy, and I'm going to take advantage of some of those opportunities you were sharing with us. I'm sure many people will also. And folks, definitely go to the website and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Trade Genius YouTube podcast, as well as go to tradelikeagenius.com and then take advantage of that 65% off those bundled options. And you can just keep that a few minutes a day or a few hours a day. It's up to you. That's the really cool thing about the programs that Bob offers and Trade Genius is you can be an expert or you can be a beginner or you can be anybody in between. You can be somebody that's working 60 hours a week in the grind and you want to have a nice extra cushion over there, do something a little bit different. It's also a rush, and it's a good rush for me. I like it. I like that adrenaline rush. So thanks for the info, and also thanks for just being even killed with us and not going down too far one side or the other, which a lot of people are doing right now. It's nice to have some stability here. So I appreciate you, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, people don't know what's going to happen, so you have to be prepared for everything. And just a reminder, that 65% is already pre-discounted. So the price you see is the price you get. The non-bundled ones, you can take 40% off retail.
Yeah, and those bundled options are already so discounted that, that's take advantage of that opportunity if you can.
Highway robbery, Dex. Highway robbery.
Right on, man. Thanks, Bob.
I'll see you.
See ya. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.